Friends, on this evening when we have a congregational meeting, I have a long message and a short message. So I'm getting rid of the long message. I'm not kidding. June is Pride Month. And though the LGBTQ plus community continues to face profound challenges, the ACLU reports that there are currently 491 pieces of anti-LGBTQ legislation being floated around the United States. There is much to be celebrated. The month recognizes the impact that the LGBTQ community has had in U.S. history. President Clinton first designated it as Gay and Lesbian Pride Month on June 11, 1999, with President Barack Obama proclaiming it as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender Pride Month 10 years later. And in 2019, President Trump tweeted, "As we celebrate the LGBTQ Pride Month and recognize the outstanding contributions the LGBTQ people have made to our great nation, let us also stand in solidarity with the many LGBTQ people who live in dozens of countries worldwide that punish, imprison, or even execute individuals on the basis of their sexual orientation." This is something that goes beyond political parties. And no, we shouldn't say what President Trump did well. And I don't go for that. And I'm a card-carrying liberal. Many people think too liberal, but let's be fair. Throughout the month of June, nationwide, there have traditionally been parades, protests, drag performances, live theater, and memorials and celebrations of life for members of the community who lost their lives in the HIV/AIDS epidemic. And it is part political activism, part celebration for all of the LGBTQ community has achieved over the years. We celebrate in June to coincide with the catalyst of the gay liberation movement that was the Stonewall Uprising. In an early morning of June 28, 1969, police raided a popular gay bar in the New York City West Village, the Stonewall Inn, and this was commonplace for the time. But on this particular evening, the patrons of the bar fought back, starting the Stonewall riots, which went on for days. The Stonewall Inn was declared a historical landmark by the city of New York in 2015 and later named a national monument by President Barack Obama in 2016. This June is the 53rd anniversary of the first Pride Parade, which happened in 1970, 1 year after the uprising. Now, every synagogue claims that it is warm and welcoming. It's become a cliche. I've never heard of a synagogue saying, "We're not warm and we're not welcoming." I mean, it's crazy. Of course we're warm and welcoming, or at least we pretend to be. We know it's not always so. In every congregation, there are walls that separate people. There are separations of age, socioeconomic boundaries, old-timers versus new-timers, people who stop in for the first time versus regulars, and how we recognize these barriers and break them down is one of our great challenges. Our synagogue is not perfect, but I believe that we are committed to inclusion, especially to the LGBTQ plus community. Human beings of all sexual orientations are us. God loves all of us, and we must emulate God's love by loving each other, especially with our differences. That is the ethos of our community. I am proud of it. And when we inadvertently fail in creating this kind of community, let us just work harder, because I know we don't always get it right. Now, as I was thinking about these remarks, I was very concerned about a memory that I have. When I was in rabbinical school, and I was at the end of rabbinical school, I graduated in 1983. My wife Jane is in the back, so she can confirm this. we had a dear friend, most brilliant man one of the most brilliant men I ever met. He was a rabbinical student. He was going on to get his PhD in Talmud, which is hard for me to even put my hands around. And I was at the Jewish Theological Seminary of America, part of the conservative movement, which I was part of for half of my rabbinical life. And their views on people within the LGBTQ community was horrendous. And this wonderful man, I happened to be married at the time and having a child, who had come to terms with his own identity, was crucified by the Jewish Theological Seminary. He was studying, he was in a PhD program, and they pushed him out. They pushed him out. He ended up graduating from rabbinical school, but he left and now he teaches and really was totally alienated from being involved really strongly in Jewish life, and he would have been a great congregational rabbi. And for me, what is so painful is I didn't speak up. It was 1983. I mean, none of my friends spoke up, and his life is being destroyed. So I pray that I never confront that again and fail to do that. And moreover, I'm proud of the Jewish community as it tries to repair this prejudice that has been part of our community from the very beginning of Rabbinic Judaism. So I want to offer this blessing for Pride that was written by 3 colleagues of mine. Makor HaChayim, source of life, you have blessed each of us with your spirit. In your wisdom, you have made each of us a unique treasure. Mayan Chayenu, wellspring of our lives, cause us to flow with courage, strength, and compassion to live our stories openly, proudly, and joyfully. Shechina shel ahava, presence of love. You embrace us with your love. May we embrace ourselves, our partners, our lovers, our friends, our children, our dear ones with the power of your ahava rabbah, your unending, boundless love. Ruach HaShalom, spirit of peace and wholeness, open our eyes to the gifts and blessings we offer and receive from each other. Open our hearts to welcome each other fully and truly. Open our hands to embrace, to support, to lift each with begilah, berina, b'shalom, uvereut, with joy, with song, with peace, and with deep friendship. Today on this Shabbat, as we celebrate renewal, pride, and community, let us walk together with strength, compassion, and love. Nivarech et mayan chayenu, titchadesh utisameach otanu b'yet HaShabbat. We bless you, wellspring of all our lives. May you fill us in Shabbat with joy and sanctity. And let us say